Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fantastic, interesting episode of For the Fans. The reason I say interesting is because none of my predictions have been great this year.
Oh, isn't that the truth? For both college and for the NFL last week, I was an absolute mess. Like I got nothing right practically. I
The
was I was very
I
frustrated.
was like, the thing is that it's not even like just us. Like all these other like channels I will like look at and everything, like Tom Grossi. Even he's like, I have no idea how people are doing this well.
I think it's almost you want to call it the year of the underdog, as far as what these seasons are turning into. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, with other sports. I know the NBA is starting back up tonight with its new regular season. Football right now, you've got teams that we didn't think were going to be good that are actually doing well. Teams that we think are doing well that should be doing well are not doing all that great. And I think we're already been seeing the same thing in the playoffs for the Major League Baseball as well too. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was just going through and looking at my predictions from last week. I'm just like, man, I think it was about 50-50 last week.
I think I was even worse this week as far as my pick 'em.
Oh, my pick 'em. It was like the first 5 games it was wrong, and then it was messy.
Yeah. Let's see if I can give you an accurate summary of how last week went for
Uh,
me for both college and for the NFL.
yeah, I was like, for
College.
NFL, I got our total for the year so far. So,
Ah, there
oh,
you go. Yeah, I think for last I I think I only got two right for the NFL or for college last week out of the 10 games that could be played.
last week for
And
NFL, you got 5 right.
yeah, it was bad. It dropped me in percentages too. It was really bad. Yeah,
I
I
only
wasn't
got
expecting
7 right, so you're doing better than me.
that. Yeah, I guess so.
Oh man. Anyways,
All right, yeah, jumping into this here now that we're talking about the weird and wacky way that the NFL is starting to shape out right now. Going into week 7, obviously we've got our injury report that we always start off with. You got Steelers QB Kenny Pickett and concussion protocol. Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz had surgery on his finger. He's expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks. You got Marquise Brown, who, from what I understand, it's still kind of TBD, but I'm pretty sure he's out for the season with his injury.
I believe so.
Randall Cobb, an ankle injury, potentially 5 to 6 weeks. Jamal Agnew, his knee, that's TBD, right, Shane?
Uh, no, I think he's out for the season now.
Oh, jeez, wow. And I believe the same is for Cameron Brate with his neck injury that he had during the game against the Steelers last week. Mike McGlinchey's got a calf injury. Javarius Ward's got a groin injury, which hurts the 49ers with their injury issues. And then the Dolphins' third string quarterback is now hurt with a thumb injury. So you basically have like the three top quarterbacks for the Dolphins are now all hurt.
Does not happen often.
Oh, that's pretty rough.
But I did just check this. Tua is expected to start against the Steelers on Sunday.
Oh, he is?
Yes.
Okay, I'm changing my prediction right now. I'll tell you something. I have the Steelers barely winning it, but if Tua's coming back, then yeah, I'm gonna give the edge to the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
Yep. Some other interesting stuff that's been happening. I guess you could still call it part of the Carolina Panthers fire sale, but Robbie Anderson was traded to the Cardinals to basically cover up for Marquise Brown's injury. And that was good timing on it too because during the game last week or just a couple days ago, Robbie Anderson had a full-on confrontation with the coach on the sideline. There was yelling and everything, and then he was eventually forced out of the game by his own interim coach in what turned out to be a loss for the Panthers. So we'll see how Robbie Anderson will shake out now with the Cardinals. That was a pretty quick trade, but I don't really know if it's going to mean a whole lot for the Cardinals. We'll see.
Yep, and then McCaffrey, speaking of the Panther fire sale, there's a lot of reports swirling around that the Panthers are looking to trade him, but obviously we've heard this report before. I think it was last year even, where they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll trade him," but they were wanting like 4 first-round picks, a second, and a third for him.
Yep, that's right.
So I'm wondering if his
Might
trade
be a
value
good
went
one.
down or what. So we, I think the Panthers are looking to just go full rebuild and possibly try trading him just to get a ton of draft picks and start
Mhm.
rebuilding.
With that being said, Shane, which team do you think could potentially get McCaffrey?
I hate that you were gonna say that. I really don't know. I don't know of a team that needs a running back that bad that wants to pay his contract and also risk his health.
Let's say hypothetically, let's say that there are good teams out there, are certain teams out there that could have use for a running back of his caliber. If they could have a good turnaround for him, where he could eventually essentially do better on that team and whatnot. Is there a team that you would have in mind?
You know, I have to look at a lot of teams right now, and honestly, the only one that's really coming to mind is the Patriots, maybe the Cowboys.
Well, I think the Cowboys are still going to stick to Ezekiel Elliott because they've got his big old
Yeah,
contract.
see, my thing is
And
the Cowboys would trade Zeke to get CMC and not give up as many picks.
yeah, I that's fair. That'd be a fair one. Patriots, I think they're doing okay while Damian Harris is out and get using
Oh
Ramondre
yeah.
Stevenson. If you ask me, I'm gonna give you a very interesting one here, and that is um, that the McCaffrey follows Robbie Anderson to the Cardinals.
Oh gosh.
The reason I say that is because
Yeah.
I don't feel like James Conner is doing nothing there. But can you imagine Christian McCaffrey and Kyler Murray on a team together?
Along with D Hop.
Oh yeah,
Because D
that's
Hop is
something.
back this week.
He is, and your fantasy team is glad to see it.
Oh yeah.
No,
I'm glad I picked him up when. Didn't you drop him?
I never picked him.
Oh. I was like, I don't know if he went undrafted or someone picked him up. I was like, I don't want to wait for this. I'm like, shoot, I'll jump on this.
It wasn't me. I probably should have though.
Yeah, I know
I
we were talking about, and you're like, I want to. I'm like, I think I beat you in the waiver wire for it.
think that's what it was the waiver wire. So, yeah. Speaking of which, I think you're actually playing me this week
We
in
are
our
we are
fantasy.
matched up this week.
Yeah, I also saw. Are you doing me a favor here? Because I noticed the Bills are on bye this week, as are the Vikings, which potentially takes out some of your big
That takes
players.
out my whole team.
Hey, if you're willing to donate wins to me because I've been doing so bad this season, I will take it.
No, I'm working on grabbing a QB.
Oh, I know, and watch. I say that now, and I'm gonna end up losing.
Oh, I don't know if I want that QB though. Uh, uh,
Well, while you're looking through that, another thing we gotta talk about is Vice President of Football Operations at the Houston Texans, Jack Easterby. He's out of a job there. He oversaw much of the transitional change after Bill O'Brien was fired as head coach. That includes the Deshaun Watson trade. A little bit of background with Easterby. He actually came from New England Patriots, and it's my understanding he oversaw a lot of operations there during the whole Aaron Hernandez controversy as well. So very interesting to see that situation there. I know that there hasn't been a lot of love for him in Houston by the fan base or by the players per se. So I wonder if this will maybe potentially lead to Houston turning a new leaf. I don't know.
will be interesting to see.
Yeah. Another interesting thing that we need to talk about, Shane, especially in light of how that game between the Eagles and the Cowboys went on Sunday. The Cowboys are turning back to Dak Prescott to be their signal caller in Week 7 against the Detroit Lions. How are you feeling about this? Do you think it'll go well?
Uh, mm, uh, if that tells you anything, my thing is that I never trust players their first game back most of the time. So
Or, which tells you how little faith you have in the Steelers, considering you're trusting the Dolphins to win with Tua Tagovailoa back in action.
yeah. The thing is, I think it's more of a Tua is the game changer for the Dolphins, whereas Dak, I feel like yes, Dak is good, but Cooper Rush was doing just fine.
Sure, yeah, that's a good point.
That is my take.
Until that game against the Eagles, because he did have 3 interceptions in the Eagles game.
Yeah, we don't talk about that though.
All right. Don't really like to talk about the Cowboys anyway in a positive light. I wanted to kind of start singing that Encanto song there for a second.
Oh,
but
I was
feel
about
like
to.
a lot of people want to reach through their screen and kill me for that one. Anyway, moving into our wows and the woes. Speaking of the Steelers, because Kenny Pickett got his concussion, Mitchell Trubisky came back in. He upset Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. After Pickett went down with his concussion, Trubisky, he had a decent game. He scored a touchdown, played pretty well, didn't have any turnovers, and the Steelers got their second win of the season against the Buccaneers, which is really concerning on 2 levels. One, it's saying to themselves, okay, wow, the Steelers were really in need of that one win. But 2, they did it to the Buccaneers. What is going on with that team? They're really doing bad.
Yeah, you got to see Brady yell at his offensive line. Yeah, that was fun. Isn't Trubisky also undefeated against Brady?
No,
Oh, I thought I read
it's
something
not.
that he is undefeated against Brady or something.
No, do you remember? So the season where the Bears technically had their good season up until the double doink, that that season during the regular season they played the Patriots, and that was the only game um, where the Bears lost by more than 3 points.
Gotcha.
Was
See,
it
this
was
is why you have a
from what I
Bears
remember.
fan here.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm able to help you at least out with that because the Bears that season they were 12-4, but their only 4 losses. One of them came to the Patriots, which technically they almost could have won the game, but they were tackled just shy of the end zone, kind of a Hail Mary play. So that one ended up the Patriots won by about 7 points in that game. Whereas the other 3 losses they had, 2 of them were in overtime to the Giants and the Dolphins, and one of them was to the Packers by 1 single point.
That 1 point.
That was actually after that one time we hung out, Shane, at that reunion, and
Oh
we were
yeah.
like kind of keeping tabs on the game. It was that night when they lost to the Packers by 1, where Khalil Mack was just messing up Aaron Rodgers for the first half, and then Aaron Rodgers comes back and slings 3 touchdowns.
Fun times.
Just like the Bears fan.
Oh man.
Anyway, so yeah, obviously the Bears still in trouble. Packers also still in trouble. We'll get to them. But the Giants, they were up against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. We got to see this ultimate clash of Lamar Jackson, who's the quarterback who plays like a running back, and Saquon Barkley, the running back who plays like the quarterback. Oh
boy.
It was a crazy game, but it was another ugly win by the New York Giants. And they're still in the fight in this dominant NFC East division, which, mind you, the Giants are now in 2nd place within the division.
They're 5-1.
Yep.
How?
I don't know, and I almost don't want to talk about it because I know so little and I have so many questions.
I think I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm like, how is it that the NFC East is currently the best football division in the league right now by win-loss record?
No idea. And if I remember correctly, outside of the Bills, Jets. Oh no, I guess the Chiefs and Chargers both still have decent winning records.
Chiefs and Chargers are both 4-2.
Yeah, but still, I mean, and I'm trying to look at some of the other teams. Like the NFC West looks terrible right now.
Vikings are 5-1.
The Vikings are 5-1, so that is probably the only team outside of the NFC East in the NFC that actually looks good. You know what I mean?
And the Vikings don't even look that good, honestly.
Oh, they don't. It just tells you that the AFC is always the better division.
Except unless you're in the NFC East, apparently, all of a sudden.
They've always been so terrible, and now all of a sudden they're really good. I mean, normally, it's hard to say. I mean, this sounds kind of sad to say, Shane, but if you talk about the weakest divisions, in both the AFC and the NFC. Traditionally, in the NFC, it's been the NFC East. This year, I would wager it's the NFC North. Um,
NFC
the
South
NFC
might be
South
right
is
behind
bad
you.
too, actually. What'd you say?
NFC South might be right behind you.
Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, the NFC South is probably just as bad. In the AFC, no offense, it's probably the AFC South, and traditionally, it's the AFC South.
Traditionally, after Peyton Manning.
Yes.
But before Peyton Manning, the AFC South was scary.
Yes. Well, it always has these shifts that it goes through, but yes. But anyway, we need to move on here as far as our other wows. I got so much we can talk about this here, but we need to get through the rest of our content here. We got Jamar Chase, who finally had a really big game. 2 touchdowns, gritty Bengals victory over the New Orleans Saints. This comes recently after talk about Chase's frustration over not getting enough opportunities to catch the ball. He did great. I loved it because obviously he's on my fantasy team. I'm hoping he does it again
I was
this
gonna say,
week.
did you have him started this week or did you bench him?
I did have him started this week, thank goodness, because I was thinking about benching him. And even when the game first started and he only had like 1 point, I was like, yep, here he is to disappoint me again. And then I think I checked later and he had 27 fantasy points for me, and I said, all right, I'm shutting up now. I'll take that.
Yeah, my fantasy week matchup against you is gonna be real rough.
I don't know how it's gonna go because
I
it could go
got
either way.
I put D Hop in the starting lineup. That's how many of my players are out this week.
I get that, but the problem is too is we've been talking about how this season has been so up and down. You can never really predict when someone's going to be good or not. It could go either way. You know what I mean?
Anyways,
the only consistency we're seeing right now is the Philadelphia Eagles, who, if you ask me, I still have some concern about the level of teams that they're playing against. They still capitalized off of Cooper Rush's 3 interceptions, and they are still undefeated heading into week 7. So, Shane, with that question, how good do you think the Eagles' chances are of returning to the Super Bowl? I understand they're most likely going to get the 1, maybe the 2 seed if they do fall apart later.
Oh, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so who do you think in the NFC actually has a chance of beating them to go back to the Super Bowl?
You got a good point. Now I'm like scratching my head. I'm like,
Hear me out. Until the Cardinals, Rams, or Buccaneers wake up, no one is touching the Eagles, and they're going back to the Super Bowl.
I can see the Vikings pulling it together a little bit more.
Oh, I'm predicting a repeat of the NFC Championship from 2018 when the Eagles beat them 45-7.
I'm sorry. I'm still not an Eagles believer yet.
I'm not either, but the problem is they are the best team in the NFC right now because everyone else is so terrible.
my thing with the Eagles, I'm like, you gotta look at the games. Like, yeah, they win the games, but look at the Jaguar games. They're like, oh yeah, they beat the Jaguars. I'm like, they beat the Jaguars by 1 possession, and they won the turnover battle by 5.
Yeah,
you should
totally
be, at least a double possession team.
I understand that. I'm not saying the Eagles are great. I am just saying you have other teams like, say, for example, in the NFC East, the jury is still out on the New York Giants. Dallas Cowboys, okay, the Eagles have proven enough that, like, okay, they can beat the Cowboys. To the NFC North, okay, well, the Eagles already beat the Vikings, and...
But that was during prime time, and we all know how Kirk Cousins plays during prime time.
And the playoffs are not prime time?
Fair enough. You know what? I think if the only... I feel dirty. I think the only team that could probably stop the Eagles right now is the Giants. I think the Giants are it.
If the Buccaneers or the Rams or the Cardinals wake up, then the Eagles are in trouble.
I don't think the Buccaneers are going to wake up.
I don't know if the Rams or Cardinals are going to either. But
I doubt the Rams are. Cardinals...
If they did...
Cardinals, I can see waking up solely based off DeAndre Hopkins that's coming back.
Yes, that is certainly possible. Something to definitely keep an eye on. Moving on here, though, we got to talk about the woes. We've got the Chicago Bears, who failed to score a touchdown in the final seconds of their Thursday Night Football matchup against the Washington Commanders. Darnell Mooney was tackled at the 1-yard line as time expired, leaving the Bears with a record 2-4. My only issue with this game, Shane, is because I feel like we're seeing this not just with the Bears but with other teams as well, where they're falling into a habit of, okay, they're down, there's only a couple minutes left, that sort of thing, and they just want to turn everything into a pass play. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And they don't want to run the ball. They don't want to give the ball to the running back because it's not the flashy thing to do. I was talking with a couple of people about the same. You see the same thing in even in other sports like basketball or baseball. In basketball, okay, we're down. Let's shoot ridiculous 3-pointers that we have no chance of making. Okay, we're down in baseball. Okay, let's not load up the bases with RBIs. No, let's just moonshot and try and homer everything, which it's it's a flashier thing to do, but it's less effective.
Yep.
So that's the gripe that I have there. I feel like the Bears, you're technically starting to see some more good things happen from Justin Fields, but the rest of the team is just not in sync together, and it's kind of like what I told you. I think the Bears are just getting ready to tank for that number 1 pick.
It's like you guys need offensive line. You guys need a true phenomenal wow receiver like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase.
Absolutely. I look at it at this point, and I say that the battle for the number 1 overall pick, at least from, let's say, NFC teams, Bears, Commanders, Panthers.
Yeah.
If we lump
yeah.
if we lump the AFC into it,
Texans.
Texans, maybe the Raiders if they don't figure things out. That's about it.
All right. Speaking of the AFC South, good game. Horrible, sad, depressing loss.
You would not stop talking about it.
I was so mad during this game because I'm like, run the dang ball. I feel like I was Leanne Tui in The Blind Side saying, run the ball. It was just they weren't running the ball. And thing is, when we ran the ball, we were averaging like 10 plus yards a carry, and I'm like, why aren't we running the ball more? Like we were.
It's not the flashy thing to do.
Oh my gosh, but it was so flashy. It was flashy because we had a 67-yard touchdown run where the running back went untouched, and it was JaMycal Hasty. How many of you have him on your fantasy team?
I do, just kidding.
Yeah, no, you don't.
No, I do not.
I literally went in, I'm just like, how many fantasy teams is he in? And I was like, wow, he's on like 0.3% of rosters right now.
Sure, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
He's a third running back. But the Jaguars end up losing. Trevor Lawrence had a good game. He had 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, blah, blah, blah. They lost. In fact, Trevor Lawrence became the first quarterback in NFL history, I shared this with you, to lose a football game with 20 plus passing attempts, 90% plus completion percentage, 3 plus total touchdowns, 0 turnovers. In 103 years of football, this has never happened.
They still lost, which is sad because the Jaguars were at the top of the division and now they're falling off.
Yeah, we lost to the Texans and now the Colts, and it is looking grim.
Yep. In the club.
I want out of the club. I've been trying to get out of the club for 10 years.
So do the Packers right now because they're not used to this. What was it? Tom Grossi was saying, he was like, how do Lions fans feel about this?
You saw that too?
Oh yeah, I watch his. He is so on top of it too. It's like 2 minutes after Monday Night Football ends, he's dropping his video.
Oh yeah, freaking love him.
Literally, every day, every start of the weekday, the only thing that gets me through Monday and Tuesday, which are such a slog after the weekend, because basically all my mind is on football. The only things that get me through are Matt Mitchell's videos on college football with the SEC and Tom Grossi's videos about NFL reactions from each team. I look forward to those all the time.
You should look up some of the podcast clips from the Kelsey brothers podcast.
I've seen some of them. I've heard that. Yeah.
The one I saw today is they asked their mom, "Who would you root for if our teams played each other in the Super Bowl?"
Oh, no.
Travis was like, I was pretty like sure that it was like undecided or it was me all the way up until this last week. This last week she made it very clear that it was
Jason.
Jason. The reason why is because Jason has kids.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
It was so funny to watch.
That is funny. Yeah, dude, literally. Matt Mitchell's SEC video on Monday, Tom Grossi's videos on Tuesday, Gridiron Heights on Wednesday. That's what keeps me going during this stupid season.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I saw that a lot of Gridiron Heights was coming out like on Tuesday recently.
I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever. I haven't seen it come out today, so.
Oh, it is
Anyway,
Wednesday. I'm hallucinating.
Anyway, we need to move on here. We got the Packers. Their situation, they're clearly in trouble because now they've lost to both New York teams. They're 3-3, just barely hanging on to having a winning record, and it's a possibility. Aaron Rodgers brought this up in his last press conference. He said, I'm not happy, but I'm not too worried about it after losing to the Giants. If we lose to the Jets next week, there's a problem. Yeah, you got obliterated by the Jets. So either Zach Wilson is actually really, really good, and he's been. I'm not going to make that joke. Actually, that's too inappropriate. You can guess where I was going through with that.
I was gonna say, like, maybe Giselle was the reason that most of Tom Brady's success came out of Giselle, and Zach Wilson's hitting that up, but yeah.
Oh, I want to make so many bad jokes right now. Let's move on here. Oh my goodness. Okay, and then this is last night. The Broncos special teams, dude. This was bad. I watched this happen and my jaw dropped. Yeah, I don't remember which players they were, but one of the Chargers special teamers was basically in lock with a Broncos special teamer, and he pushed the Broncos player into the returner, and he dropped the ball, and the Chargers recovered it, which eventually led to them getting the field goal and getting that win. Which, for me, on one hand, probably some people would chalk that up to, oh, Broncos just having bad luck again. But seriously, the Broncos, they can't manage anything on offense. It is so bad. And it's really sad because their defense is doing a really good job of at least holding other teams to limited points. But the offense can't get it done, so it's all for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I want to say something, but I was like, Russell Wilson did have a great first half where the Broncos were actually doing something, but
yes, but then it all just fell apart.
Don't we have like 3 more Broncos primetime games this year?
We've even got one. Do we have one this week?
I don't.
Oh, it's an afternoon game.
I was like, I'll find out. I know we have 3 more this year, which I'm like, why? Why did the Broncos get like 8 primetime games in one season?
When we get back to our coach's hot seat in one of these future episodes, you know their coach Nathaniel Hackett is going to be on the hot seat for me.
He is like, he is burned.
Fires of hell, the fires of hell hot seat.
By the way, we got a comment about the Zach Wilson. I was debating on saying it, but I feel like I want to now.
No.
It says, "Go Milson."
Who put that on there?
Iron Jones?
Oh, it's Matt Jones. He would put something like that on there. He would put something like that on there.
He says your mom, so there you go.
Yep. That sounds like something he would say.
I want to let you in because I feel like I have the chat pulled up and you don't, so I can see everything.
No, I don't. I'm literally just looking at our content right now. Hey, we need to get into our Week 7 matchups, though, here on that note. Shane, we should probably blast through these quickly so we can get to our For the Fun and to our fantasy matchups, or our analysis there. So Thursday Night Football, we've got the Saints and the Cardinals. We both picked the Cardinals to win. Same score we picked, 27-24. Matchup monster. Shane, are you going to go with DeAndre Hopkins
I'm going with D-Hop.
Yeah, why not? I'll just say it.
I'm like, first game back, I feel like he'll be Kyler's number 1 target again. And Call of Duty campaign comes out on Thursday, so Kyler has time to get through the campaign and still play good football.
Gosh, that cracks me up.
The weirdest statistic ever.
Honestly, though, speaking of which, I need to To play the campaign this week. All right, that's a story for another day. Okay, we got Green Bay Packers versus Washington Commanders. We both picked the Packers to win. You said 21-10. I said 17-10. Matchup monster for this game. I'm feeling like it'll be Aaron Jones.
See, I know I didn't pick them to win, but I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson.
I just picked him up in fantasy.
I have him in my keeper league, so
I hope it goes well for both of us.
I do too, cause in my keeper league I have a lot of players out this week.
Man, okay. It's a rough week for you, that's for sure.
I told so many people, I'm like, I'm gonna draft these people, and I'm like, they're like, oh, well, you're gonna have like screwed on the bye week. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. I'm just gonna deal with it. I'll take the L for the week. I don't care.
There you go.
Like, I don't even have a defense for my keeper league this week.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, all right. It's going to be an interesting one for you then.
I mean, I still projected 100 points without a defense, so I'm like, why not?
All right, yeah, full send. Then we've got Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. We both picked the Ravens to win. You said 24-21. I said 24-20. Matchup monster for this game. I mean, look, I understand your score would probably reflect this a little bit more accurately, but I feel like what it's going to come down to, as far as the Ravens to just barely sneak away with this win, is something impressive from Justin Tucker.
So you're saying Justin Tucker?
I'm saying Justin Tucker.
I don't want to be lame, but I can only think of one person because I'm like, all the other Ravens players I know that I would put in are questionable or hurt right now, so...
Rashad Bateman healthy again?
Not fully.
Well, dang.
He is currently listed as questionable.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm sticking with Justin Tucker then.
I'm gonna go with Duvernay.
All right.
No,
so you didn't want to go with
Duvernay. I'm going with Mark Andrews.
I thought that was gonna be your original one that you didn't want to say, or was that Lamar Jackson?
No, I was gonna say Rashad Bateman or J.K. Dobbins, but they're both very questionable.
Yes, they are. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Carolina Panthers. 27-7 Buccaneers for you. 21-7 Buccaneers for me. Matchup monster in this game. I am gonna go with Leonard Fournette.
I was gonna say I'm like Robbie Anderson because he doesn't have to play on this team anymore.
Yeah, that is a win for him.
Your friend Matt says Brady. I'm not a believer in Brady still. I don't believe in Brady that much.
You know, it's funny that Matt says that because Matt's a diehard Patriots fan. You two would get along swimmingly.
Funny thing is, I know a diehard Patriots fan. He's the guy that invited me to the Keepers League.
All right.
But
well, good for you.
Matt says that
you know a Patriots fan.
Matt says that Brady will play pissed off, which I can see, but
totally possible.
Yeah.
And the Panthers would be a good team to annihilate in that situation. It's kind of like this has happened twice in a row now. Last year, Alabama lost to Texas A&M, and then the next game they played was against Mississippi State, and they just obliterated Mississippi State. Well, if you remember, if you're paying attention, I know you don't pay attention to college much, but Tennessee beat Alabama last
I saw that.
Saturday.
I got a message from you. It's like America wins when Alabama loses.
Yes, that's how I feel. You know how I feel about Alabama. But guess who Alabama is playing this weekend? Mississippi State.
Oh, my.
They're in for it.
I was like, my dad went to Mississippi State. Okay.
Yep, it's going to be rough.
My matchup monster, I'm saying Mike Evans.
Okay, Mike Evans. I'll take that one.
I feel like Brady's going to be more of a check down passer this game because they're going to get ahead early.
I don't know. I feel like he could be really dynamic.
I think he'll start off big at the beginning, but then it'll be like 14-0, and they're gonna be like, okay, just eat down the clock and do more check down passes.
Well, yeah, that's what you do when.
Exactly. So I'm not saying he's gonna be a matchup monster because he's gonna start off strong, but then he's gonna be a lot less flashy.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take it. Got the Falcons and the Bengals next. We both picked the Bengals to win. We both say 30-24. Excuse me. Matchup monster in this game. I'm praying to the football gods. It's Ja'Marr Chase.
Oh, I'm gonna have to pray to the other football gods, the true football gods, and say T. Higgins.
He's on your team. I
Yup.
love it. Jamar's on mine. I love it. That's funny.
I was like, this is going to be the true matchup, because it's not even just you versus me. It's going to be, okay, we both have a Bengals receiver. Who's going to do better?
Yep, exactly. Okay, we got Lions versus Cowboys. You picked the Lions to win 27-24. I picked the Cowboys to win 27-23. Shane, I'm actually falling back into what my quintessential, I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win in the hopes that I jinx them and they lose. So, matchup monster for this game, I'm going to say it's Jared Goff.
Oh boy, I don't know what to think anymore. Oh, my brain is breaking.
Act like this is the new thing for you. You say that like every episode.
Jared Goff. The thing is, the reason my brain is breaking this season is because I don't know what's going on anymore. Is DeAndre Swift still hurt?
I don't know, and I'm looking. Apparently, Amon-Ra St. Brown might be ready to go too. But he's still technically questionable.
I think I'm gonna go with Jamal Williams.
Oh, that's a good pick if DeAndre Swift is not healthy. Speaking of which, because I know we sometimes take an interest in these types of players, but do you know where Jamal Williams went to college?
Arizona State.
No.
Oh, I was like,
the school just down the street from you, where you live.
BYU?
Yes, sir.
Ugh. If only your wife could hear me now. She will find a way to punch me through like 3 hours away.
Probably true. Probably true. We're only 2 hours away. It's not gonna be that difficult to punch you. Just kidding.
I mean, Matt agrees with me. He says BYU blows, so.
He's a diehard Utah fan, so yeah, that's not surprising.
I mean, I'm not a Utah fan in general, so. Anyways, now we got my personal, not favorite matchup for the week. I don't have a lot of hopes.
Jaguars and Giants. You have the Jaguars winning 24-21. I have the Giants squeaking away with another ugly win, 23-21. My matchup monster, is there anyone else besides Saquon Barkley?
Yes.
Don't you say it.
Say what?
They're going to say Daniel Jones.
No! No!
I was bracing myself. I was like, please, no.
It's Kadarius Toney, of course.
Why don't you throw Kenny Golladay on there while you're at it?
No.
And Sterling Shepard. He'll play on one leg.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars player. I'm going to say Travis Etienne.
Okay. Take that.
He seems like the hot hand right now for the running back.
But you didn't used to be, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, trust me, I want James Robinson to resurge.
Hey, Colts and Titans. You got the Titans winning 24-21. I'm seeing the Colts play another surprise, and they win 27-21. My matchup monster in this game, I am going to go with Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh, you're going with Pittman? I thought you were going like with Pierce or someone.
No, I'm going to take another little gamble here. Maybe he'll have a good game.
Maybe. You know, I want Jonathan Taylor to be back, but I don't think he's healthy enough yet. I'm going to go with the King.
Call. The Titans, always a fair call.
Yeah, especially with how beat up that Colts run defense got. Yeesh.
Yep, that might be what ends up ruining this prediction for me.
Alright, next up we got the Texans versus the Raiders. Wow, both these teams only have one win so far.
Wild, huh?
It's very wild, considering that, one of these one-win teams at least has a tie to go along with it.
Yeah, so technically they have the better record.
Anyways,
hey, but we both picked the Raiders. We both picked the Raiders to win. You say 28-20. I say 31-20. My matchup monster in this game, I'm gonna go with Hunter Renfrow.
It's a running back day for me. I'm going with Josh Jacobs.
I always feel like I can't pick him.
I always feel that way too, and then he does well. So.
Okay, yeah, I guess we'll see.
Oh,
We've got the
boy.
Jets versus the Broncos. We both pick the Jets to win. You say 17-10. I say 28-17. Matchup monster in this game. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? It's not Corey Davis. Who's the other Jets wide receiver?
I only know Corey Davis. I can't even trade the man.
Oh, give me I was gonna say Elijah Moore, but actually give me Garrett Wilson, the rookie. I'm gonna say he's the matchup monster.
Okay, Garrett.
Because my
Okay.
gut is to go with Sauce Gardner, but I want to go offense.
See, I will go sauce for us.
Okay, cool. Cheese sauce after the hat he wore
Give him the
the other
sauce,
day.
the cheese sauce.
little cheese sauce.
I made so many Packers fans mad. I'm like, I love this. Like, if this was even my
Great.
team and he took like a Jaguar head, I'm like, I'm not even mad. This is funny.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It was great. Got the Chiefs and the 49ers. You say Chiefs 34-17. I say Chiefs 31-17. Matchup monster in this game. I am gonna go. Well, I'm on for this one. I'm actually gonna go with Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he's gonna have a field day with the amount of defensive injuries that the 49ers have had.
Oh, I want to say something, but it's way too ballsy of me, and I don't feel comfortable with it.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yep.
That is ballsy.
I'm like, yep. Don't love
Hey.
it, but I want to put
I-
I want to put some money on this.
All right, all right. Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Chargers. You say Seahawks 24-21. I say Chargers 28-14. Matchup monster in this game. I'm gonna go with Eckler.
Ooh, Eckler's a good one.
Seems like he's starting to wake up. I know last night's game wasn't the greatest, but
I'll go the opposite side. I'll go with Kenneth Walker.
another running back who he is also doing a pretty good job in Rashard Penny's place.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and then a really lame Sunday night football game between the Steelers and the Dolphins. Look, none of us
Potentially
cares
lame.
None
Would you
of
rather
us
have the
cares if
Broncos? Would you rather have the Broncos?
No,
Exactly.
that's a fair point. But at the same time, no one cares that the Steelers and the Dolphins were like really talented rivals in the 70s, and that's why this matchup is happening. But we both picked the Dolphins to win. You say 20-17. I say 20-19. If Tua's back, then I'm gonna say that the matchup monster is Jalen Waddle.
Ooh. I'm not gonna argue with that one. I was just gonna say it's gonna be Waddle or Hill.
I'm gonna go with Waddle.
As we discussed before, Waddle's the more go-to receiver, but Hill makes the bigger plays.
Sure, absolutely. That just leaves Monday Night Football. We've got the Chicago Bears versus the New England Patriots. You have the Bears winning 24-17. I have the Patriots winning 28-20. My matchup monster in this game is going to be Ramondre Stevenson because I feel like our defense is going to have a really tough time getting him back. And I don't think Damian Harris is healthy enough right now, so I think it'll be Stevenson.
Oh, I got the Bears. The Bears. I
Oh,
say that sad
Bears.
because I'm like, I don't know how much trust I should have in them.
None.
As for my matchup monster, I really want to put Fields because I feel like Fields has been doing great.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Fields. I feel like Fields needs a better team around him, but Fields himself, he's doing good.
I disagree with that comment though about he has a better team around him because one, I don't think he has a good team around him.
Oh no, I said
Two,
he needs a better team around him.
oh, I thought you said he has a better team around him, and I said, are you kidding me?
I could have
Because
said he
I don't feel like
has a better team.
okay, because I was like, one, I don't feel like the Bears. I feel like the Bears don't have a good team to go around Fields, and for the Patriots, they've actually been doing well lately. I don't know if that's Mac
This
Jones
is like
being
that
out or
9:30 a.m. situation all over again.
oh man, it took a second for me to figure out what you were talking about. But yes, yes, Jane, I told you 9:15. I loved how your wife too was like, "You said 9:30, McKay. It's all your fault. We missed it." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I said 9:15." You and I look at our messages. Yep, I said 9:15. Shane had a brain fart.
My wife looks at me and she's like, I can't believe you did this. I'm like, I can't believe I did it either.
That's why she's in charge this weekend.
Yes, she is, because she is way better at scheduling than I am.
Oh, I love it. That's funny. Hey, now we've got our fantasy analysis. A quarterback, bench a quarterback. Let's see. One quarterback that I think should be played this week is Patrick Mahomes. I think that is going to be way too good against the 49ers with all of their injuries right now.
I'm gonna be the balls to the wall kind of guy this week.
Oh my goodness! How many times are you going to say balls tonight?
I don't know. I can't make my comments. Anyways,
I caught you flipping there.
I was gonna say, I'm like, well, good thing this isn't Deflategate or anything.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ugh. I am gonna say, I'm gonna go with Jared Goff.
Go to play?
Play, yeah.
Okay.
My backup one is Tua.
Oh, all right. Wow. I'm gonna say to bench, even though I can't. Well, no, I did bench him. What am I saying? I benched his ass. Is Russell Wilson. I'm not playing Russell Wilson. I don't recommend you do either.
I just heard the complete spite and anger with the Russell Wilson. It's like, I'm benching him. I benched him. He's gone.
He has let me down too many times.
Oh, I would say bench Dak.
Yeah, it could be rough coming back into it. We'll see.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna say bench Dak. He's going against the worst rated defense right now.
Actually, yes, that's true.
Yeah, that made me backpedal real quick. I was like, wait a minute. I'm gonna say, yeah, I think I'm just gonna agree with you. Bench Russ.
I'll take the two running backs that we should probably play this week for fantasy. I'd say Leonard Fournette and Aaron Jones. Both of them would be really good.
Okay.
But who would you bench?
I would bench J-Rob. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a firm believer in him, but he's not being used effectively, and it hurts me.
Right.
I would say bench Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of running backs that I have that are currently on a bye week, so.
Sure.
Wide receiver time.
Yeah, I would say wide receivers to play this week. Mike Evans is probably a big one.
Oh, going with my call. What, you're not gonna pick Jamar Chase?
I mean, it's certainly possible because it's the Falcons, but the Falcons are actually doing better than we all thought. So who knows?
It's like, who would you rather start, Jamar Chase or T. Higgins?
Jamar, obviously.
We'll see how that plays out this week.
But between between the two of them, who is the more dynamic receiver?
T. Higgins, of course.
Oh my gosh, I can't even argue with you.
No, Jamar Chase. I would say Jamar.
All right, okay. Thank you.
If this man is healthy, please.
Oh my gosh, not Keenan Allen again, for the love of all that is holy.
I need him to be healthy, my guy. You don't understand. He is the only receiver I have left available right now, and he's hurt.
Every week it's the same thing. Play Keenan Allen.
No, I'm fine. Don't listen to me. That's a horrible one. I just have no other receivers to even name.
Okay, all right.
It's that bad right now.
Oh, wow. All right.
You know what? No, start Jalen Waddle. There we go.
There you go.
Time
Receivers
for the
to
Penguin
bench.
dance.
All right, I like that. Receivers to bench. Maybe Amari Cooper this week, honestly.
I'm going to say Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, well, it's the Broncos. So
yeah.
While you're at it, bench Jerry Jeudy.
Here's how bad it is. I have Cortland Sutton, who's got me nothing. He has to be played because every other receiver's on the bye. And then in another league, I have both Waddle and Hill in the starting lineup as the two wide receivers.
That could be good, potentially. But
yeah.
It wasn't for a while.
Yeah. Anyways.
I would just like to remind you, Shane, because you wanted Cortland Sutton from me. So we did the trade, and I know Cortland Sutton's been absolutely useless to you, but if it makes you feel any better, Michael Pittman, who you traded me, has not been all that great either.
I will say, Sutton's had at least one good game.
Pittman, yeah, they've all been kind of mid or terrible. So.
Yeah, Sutton I think had one like good. No, he's had two good games. He got 2 games where he was above 10, so I'll take it.
There you go. I think I've only had one where Pittman's been above 10. No, there's 2. So yeah, maybe it's been about 6s.
About even. About even.
Okay. Tight ends, one tight end to play. I'd say Mark Andrews.
Since you're saying Mark Andrews, which I feel like is an easy choice, I'm gonna go with the lower choice. I'm gonna say Zach Ertz.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that, but
He's been getting a consistent like 6 to 7 points every week.
Oh sure, no, I'm not like denying that. I'm just saying I feel like, you got Mark Andrews playing Mark Andrews.
When Mark Andrews was going in a round 2 or 3, how many people actually got him?
He was one of the top ones. It was him, Darren Waller, and Travis Kelce who were the 3 most coveted.
Yeah, Zach Ertz fell very far.
Oh yeah, sure. No, that's a good point. I thought you were talking about Andrews.
Oh no, Andrews went high.
That's what I thought.
Now, Vegetide.
Was that? Oh, Vegetide. I was gonna say really quickly though. I do enjoy how someone posted something. It was a fantasy meme that says, "For your tight end, you either have Travis Kelce or you have everyone else."
Yep, I've seen that. I've seen that very often.
Yes, but anyway, tight end to bench this week, Cole Kmet for the Bears.
I'm gonna say Gerald Everett of the Chargers.
No, probably a good call. Okay. And with that being said, with the last few minutes that we have our For the Fun, which is the Super Bowl future. So the location of the Super Bowl has been decided for the next 3 upcoming years. Obviously, it's going to be in Arizona this season. The following season, it is going to be in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. And the year after that, 2025, it is going to be back in New Orleans. The question is for the rest of the decade, 2026, 27, 28, 29, we're going to hypothesize where would be some really good places for the Super Bowl to be held at the end of each of those seasons. Now, with that being said, we need to establish some ground rules here as far as what kind of formulate some of our thoughts. We kind of want to shy away from picking Miami, New Orleans, or Los Angeles because those places tend to get picked quite often for the Super Bowl. They have records as far as how often they've been the place to play for the Super Bowl because obviously, well, it's warm. Secondly, because, again, talking about the weather sort of thing, there are a couple of stadiums that are probably not going to be at the top of our pick. First Energy Stadium where the Browns play. Paycor Stadium where the Bengals play. Lambeau Field, Packers. Soldier Field, the Bears. Mile High Stadium where the Broncos play. Possibly Lumen Field where the Seahawks play. Gillette Stadium where the Patriots play. And they have played a Super Bowl there before, but MetLife Stadium where the Jets and Giants play. Kind of all the cold weather areas. They're still up for debate if we can kind of go over them, but understand that they probably might not be at the top of our list because of weather or because they've been doing it so much. With that being said, Shane, let's dive in here. What are we thinking for the next 4 years for a Super Bowl?
Oh, boy. I hate that you started with me because I'm like, do I have an order necessarily? No. Do I have an idea of who I would like to see? Kinda?
Let's hear your idea. For 2026, what are you thinking?
The Vikings Stadium, personally.
U.S. Bank Stadium, okay.
I'm like, you know the stadiums off the top of your head. I do not.
I got you. Now, I understand that is one of the coolest stadiums, in my opinion, if you ask me.
One of the cooler ones. It's got a dome, like, protect from the cold weather.
Mm-hmm. Hope it makes sense. I'm going to offer a different take, though, for 2026.
Okay.
I understand it is going to be in a potentially colder area. But I think the best place to have a Super Bowl in 2026 would be Lincoln Financial Field. That is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. Now, you may be asking, why?
Well, I am.
2026 marks what is it? Hang on. Let me do the math here. Hello. I believe that is 250. That would be the 250th anniversary of American independence.
Oh,
And
okay.
where did that fight for independence originate from? Well, technically, as far as originated, it'd actually be the city of Boston. But as far as where did the colonists have their, headquarters? What was the capital during the war? Philadelphia.
Look at this.
That's where the
You come
that's where
to
the
talk about football and you end up getting a history lesson. That's what we give you here.
There you go. I don't have that degree for nothing. No, honestly, that's where the Declaration was signed. That would be a pretty historic moment, if you ask me. It would be pretty cool to have that happen
I'm
there.
not gonna lie, I agree with you on that because I think it'd be cool. The main thing where I've seen a lot of people say not Philadelphia is because of the culture in Philadelphia.
Sure, but I feel like you almost want to make it an exception for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they've already burned down their city once. What's the worst that can happen?
Okay, moving on here. 2027. What are we thinking?
Oh, you know, I was leaning towards one way. I think I'm leaning towards another now. Hit me up with the 49ers.
That was what I was thinking. Was Levi's Stadium? I feel like that would be a good one. That was the last time we saw that stadium be used was Peyton Manning's final game, the Super Bowl 50. That'd be good to go back there.
Well, I'm glad we were on the same page for
Um,
that.
was that sorry?
I'm glad we were on the same page for that.
Yeah, no, that was good. I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I think that'd be a good one. 2028. Here's my thought. Why don't we? Let's have it be NRG Stadium, which is where the Houston Texans play.
See, I figured you were gonna go Texas. I don't want to go Texas yet.
Okay. So what would you pick?
I think I'd go with Titans.
Oh, well, okay. Now here's the thing. It won't be ready by then, so it'd probably still be Nissan Stadium, their current stadium, but they did just propose for a big, giant new stadium.
I'm still sticking with Titans.
It's apparently supposed to be monstrous, but I don't think it's going to be ready within 6 years.
Yeah,
Maybe. I
it'll
don't
be
know.
time. There'll be time.
Last one that I think I want to go for 2029 is I think I want to go with TIAA Bank Field.
I knew you were gonna say the Jaguars at some point.
I just think it'd be a good one. It's in Florida. It's not Miami, and we've already seen it recently in Tampa Bay.
The
I feel like this would
last
be a good one.
time Jaguars hosted Super Bowl was like Super Bowl 40, I want to say.
It's been a while. It needs to happen again.
Here, I'm looking this up now. Cause I agree with you, but the reason I think that it doesn't, because I looked up like the requirements for everything, which
Mhm.
there's a lot of requirements for how you get to host a Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's quite a bit of red
Like,
tape.
you gotta have a minimum of 70,000 seats inside your stadium. You have to have like a certain amount of hotels within a certain distance from the stadium itself. You gotta have enough room for a literal theme park to come in and drop a whole NFL experience thing off.
Oh yeah. No, I remember. So last year, about this time, my wife and I we went on a trip down to Houston, and we ended up staying at the Marriott that was just down the street from NRG Stadium, and um, that they were still talking about that several years later, the craziness of that
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and with all the stuff, all the people, the rooms were booked out more than a year in advance once it had been announced, as far as like what that stadium would be hosting. I think it got even worse as it got closer because that happened to be Super Bowl 51, which everyone was waiting to see if Tom Brady would get his fifth ring, which happened to be that Super Bowl.
I will say the
Also,
Jaguars
yeah,
last hosted a Super Bowl in Jacksonville in 2005.
Eagles and Patriots. Wow.
Yep. It was a long time ago, and honestly, I think it would be a good idea considering Shad Khan keeps saying that he wants to bring people into Jacksonville and bring a lot of money to Jacksonville. He's investing a lot in the city itself. I think this would be a good way to get a lot of people to come to Jacksonville and potentially gain the fan base for the Jaguars outside of Jacksonville itself.
Definitely.
I think it's a good one. If I had to throw in another as just my other option, this is just me agreeing with you because I would love to see it. I would say the Falcon Stadium.
That one has been used before, and it's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, you know the name, so I'm not even gonna bother looking it up.
At the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I know that there's also, because the Mercedes-Benz also used to be the Superdome down in New Orleans, but now they call it the Caesars Superdome.
New Orleans. New Orleans is a fun place for a Super Bowl, honestly.
Certainly, and they actually were supposed to have it not this season, but next season. But apparently, the schedule collided with Mardi Gras, so they said, "Yeah, no, not happening. Give us the next year." So
Only
Vegas
New
was like,
Orleans.
"We'll take it."
Only New Orleans. Also, I saw this today, and we didn't talk about it in our little bit of news because I completely forgot about it.
Oh, okay.
Next year, so next season, the 2023-2024 season, Amazon has announced that they will host the first ever NFL Black Friday football game.
Great.
So if you thought Thanksgiving was a great time for football, look no further than Black Friday for an even more interesting. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't think it's gonna be good.
I don't know what to say about it either. Because here are my gripes with that. One, Amazon has already. Let me use a different word. Pooped the bed when it comes to like working with Thursday Night Football, because they got one potentially good game with the Chiefs and the Chargers, and they've had garbage since then that they spent all this money for.
I blame that on
And
the
you could even
scheduling, but the first game, a lot of people lost connection to that game.
Oh, see, okay, there you go. Another reason right there. Then there's all this controversy surrounding the Lord of the Rings series. If we
Oh
want to argue
god.
about that. We want to argue about that. And then another thing to top it off, Shane, I don't really understand why do we need a Black Friday game when Thanksgiving is the day for the NFL? Thanksgiving is the day for NFL games. Black Friday and the Saturday, you stop laughing. I'm making a serious point here.
I'm
Come on.
laughing of pain. I'm laughing from pain because you were very
Okay.
accurate and right, and it's hurtful and painful how accurate this is.
Yes, so like I was saying, the NFL is for Thursdays for Thanksgiving. Friday and Saturday, those are college rivalry football game days. Why do you need that Friday? Ah! All right, that's all I gotta say.
It's not gonna be good. It's not. Watch them put like the two worst teams on Black Friday.
So if it were this year, it would be the Panthers and the Bears?
Panthers and Texans probably.
Yeah, probably.
I was like, yeah, Texans are 1, or it could be. Here's the thing: the Raiders are 1-4. I don't think the Raiders are that bad, honestly.
No, I don't think they're that bad either. They've just been unlucky.
Yeah, so I would say probably the Panthers and the Texans, or the Panthers and the Lions, Panthers and the Bears, Panthers and someone that is horrible.
No, thank you.
Hey, I mean, it can't be the Lions because the Lions have to play on Thursday.
Yes. Yes, they do.
They have to lose on Thursday. If they get moved to Friday, they might win, and everyone will be confused.
I love how you said they have to lose on Thursday. What is it, that scene from Family Guy where Brian falls into the lion pit? Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Aren't you guys supposed to be losing a football game right now?
I love that one. That's one of my favorite clips from that show.
Oh yeah. Anyway, with that, that is the end of our episode. We've covered everything: the injuries, the news, last week's highlights, this upcoming week, and the potential, again, another disaster for picking and fantasy matchups that it could be, fantasy, and then of course what the future with the Super Bowl could look like. That is our episode for this week.
Good luck, everyone, with your pick leagues and fantasy choices. Oh my gosh, I'm not looking forward to going into our Pick'em League, which anyone can join, by the way. I'm not looking forward to going into that and just making the choices, because every single one of them is going to hurt me.
Broncos country. Just why?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Good night, everyone.
Good night.